Welcome to VH1 Behind the Music with Callused. Today we're taking a look at Dirge of the Nameless Explorer, our 13-year in the making EP.
Really been that long?
I mean, since we played music together, yeah.
Man.
But yeah, this thing's been being written for a while, and it's finally coming out. So we're going to talk about all the songs.
Yeah. And try not to sound like self-important dickheads the entire time.
Or do.
So yeah, track number 1, this is the Big Kahuna Burger. We have our title track, our 3-part monstrosity.
Only 3 so far.
3 out of eventually 6, so that's fun.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about Dirge?
Well, Dirge was a title that I had kicking around for a while in my head after the person that the album is dedicated to, Haven Games on YouTube, passed away from cancer. I had the title Dirge the Nameless Explorer in my head. I wasn't sure exactly what to do with it, but I knew kind of what I wanted it to be. There was one day that David just kind of hit that first note on the piano, and then it just kind of spiraled out from there.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. We were working on a different song that you'll probably never hear because I think that one's abandoned. But Quiet Bright.
Oh yeah, that's probably not gonna happen.
This was before I got my electric set, so I was just bringing the fucking keyboard over to Alex's house, and I don't really know how notes work and everything, so I just kind of hit shit. If it sounds cool, awesome. And while they were setting up, I hit that fucking first beginning chord, and I was like, ooh, that sounds pretty cool. So I kept hitting it. I'm like, check this out, and then here we are.
We just built a thing around it. Yeah.
So it starts with some footsteps for my friend Jay, or Jake. It's really just a way to hide the metronome, the fact that we need one, because it's a 69 BPM.
It's a very slow section.
Haha, hilarious 69 BPM, I know. But yeah, it's just kind of like, because it's the Nameless Explorer, so someone's like walking.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I forget what the word for that it's called, but, you know, like...
ambiance,
like
scenery,
mood building or something.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Tonal world building.
I also went. I looked around and just to see like how old these songs are.
Oh,
and the oldest version,
the oldest version
of Dirge A I found was from April 23rd, 2019.
That's less old than I thought it was, actually.
That is still 4 years old almost.
Actually, one of the probably the most modern song we have.
Is that A or is that all of?
That's just A.
So that's just echoing static.
Yeah. Everyone, me from the future, I just found the files that the song used to be, the working title was Trucker Time, and actually the song was first started on December 28th, 2018, so it's even older than we thought. I think that's the last song. This is the most recent song we did, and it's from 2019. So that should tell you how long we've been working on this.
It would be A or B, I think. I don't know which one took longer to get together.
Well, B took longer to finish. I don't know. I think we started that after A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And C just kind of kicked out of somewhere at the same time, right?
Yeah, C just kind of showed up. I don't remember when.
Yeah. So I guess if we want to dive more specifically into the songs, but into like the section by section, echoing static to me is like it's a big fuzzed out, probably not directly to them, but to me it's like a big fucking Boris worship song. Because like when they do like their Akuma no Uta stuff or like any other really fuzzed out heavy rock, that's what this feels like to me. Especially the end section where the guitar and bass line up for the that last riff there. That's something straight out of like a Boris record that I wanted to pull and like create something musically equivalent, and I'm very happy with it. It's a big doomy, heavy. It's a perfect start to like tonally what this entire song is about, and I think the emotional progression from section to section is very fitting. It's like the big dooming realization of like, because at the end of the day, what Dirge is to me about, and what it's been slightly revealed to me is what it's about is like grief and going through and dealing with. So this is like the big first wave that hits you, and it's like you're cast out to sea and lost in just this fuzzy hell until you get washed up, and that's I think that carries us perfectly over to B.
Mhm.
If anybody's got anything else
Well,
to say.
yeah, I was just because I didn't even notice until we went into the studio to record it. But I was like, wow, there is not one single normal beat in all of A. Like, damn,
Yeah,
weird.
it's a
Yeah.
it's an interesting song to play for sure.
I can say where the titles came from, or at least where my headspace was at when I came up with them.
Yeah.
I came up with all these titles, I think.
Yeah.
Echoing Static, well, Dirge Nameless Explorer, I already said. Echoing Static, the section name, came from just me kind of thinking about how, Haven's gone, but his stuff on YouTube is still there. You can still watch him, you can still listen to him. So it still echoes on, but there's only static behind it. You understand? You feel me?
All static, no soul.
Something like that.
That
B?
takes us to B.
Finding solace amidst headstones.
Yeah. That is.
Where is it like? It's like two parts in of itself.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the middle part is like two-parted.
Yeah. We have like the first half, which is like the piano stuff. By the way, I played all the piano shit, but he pretty much wrote all the piano shit.
Yeah.
So that's a fun fact.
Oh, yeah.
There's only like only a few things I did with the writing wise with the piano, but yeah, it's just kind of like the mirroring piano and guitar in the beginning.
Yeah, you found a lot of like the counterpoint stuff afterwards. So once the piano starts to go off on its own, that was kind of a lot of your writing.
Yeah, it was.
I remember you sitting down writing those keyboard parts out. Like after the follow the guitar stuff, like all the independent stuff that was a lot of your doing. I remember you hashing that out. That was over at my
Honestly, I don't
place.
even remember that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, it has been a while, hasn't it?
It has been a while.
yeah, and then we decided to throw drums in. Actually, it's kind of funny because like we were tossing the idea around how like
Yeah.
because it was just guitar and piano for a long time,
Yeah.
and then we're like, man, we should probably get drums on this. So you were actually going to try to play them, but he doesn't have any.
No,
way
hard to
them.
practice.
So
Now I gotta learn keys.
I got to record that part, and I never have to play it again. 'Cause that's on you now.
Yep. That's my responsibility now. So the front half of B is like this very almost it's kind of barren, almost western sort of vibe. It's like you're wandering in like the desert or just lost somewhere. It's not like the typical like you're imagining a desert scene, you know what you're hearing in your head. It's not quite that, but like after the giant flood that is Echoing Static and being washed up, this is like, okay, you've been hit by the big wave and now you're kind of left to wander the earth without this person or this thing or this whatever was special to you, it's not there anymore and you're just kind of listlessly wandering. And then we get into the back half, which is a giant.
Back half's just kind of a huge jam.
Yeah, it's like a huge jam, kind of led alternatingly between the bass and the guitars.
See, I don't know if we ever like really. I don't remember if we actually set out like specifically to write that. I feel like it was just something we played, and it was refined into what it is now over however many jam sessions it took.
I feel like there was a suggestion of like, yeah, this front section will end at some point, we'll turn it into a jam, but I don't know how much formal planning was into that and how much it was just like, okay, let's jam it and just play some parts until we figure stuff out.
I feel like
I know once we had like a frame down, I know I wrote my bass parts out. I knew what I wanted to do with this, but I don't know like in the moment how much of that was organic and how much of it was manufactured. You know what I mean?
I want to say I feel like you came up with like the drums for the beginning of it.
Yeah.
It's like the
Boom, ba-dum-dum-dum.
yeah, it's like how like energetic it was,
Yeah.
and then we just kind of both came in with I guess whatever was on the top of our heads and just happened to work. And this is back when we were recording all our stuff. We were recording that initial jam.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it changed because I haven't heard that initial recording in a very long time.
I don't even think I have it. Like I was looking, I was like trying to find like the oldest versions, and all I could really find was like the first Guitar Pro like file.
Yeah.
Like, when that was made.
Yeah. So, I don't know how much of it was there from the beginning, but I know it took a very long time, a lot of jams to get it to where it is now.
Yeah, it took a lot of refining. It was a lot of playing.
Yeah, that's the problem with writing jams.
Yeah.
You kind of have to eventually you kind of have to write them.
And that's sort of yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that is like that's a giant emotional roller coaster. There's a bunch of different tones going on in that thing. It's all very just like parts of it almost sound hopeful, but then parts of it also just sound very like it's chaotic. It's the way you'd expect to be going through something like this. It's waves of like getting flooded by these heavy dark things and then listlessly wandering and then thinking maybe you're okay, deluding yourself into thinking you're okay. It's all very, I don't know, I like it. I can't pin it down exactly, but I know when I listen to the EP, I get a very specific vision, and I think it comes across very interestingly. So if anybody else has anything to say about B before we...
So what about the title?
Finding Solace Amidst Headstones. This one is kind of less nailed down than Echoing Static was, but it's essentially, you know, talking back about Haven again, it's kind of watching his videos and kind of, I guess, looking for a reason behind everything that happened. And even if you can't find one, which there is not really one to find, you know, slowly you begin to accept what happened and try to move past it. And that's kind of what the whole Dirge saga is about. At least this first part.
And then we have...
Part C, Funeral for a Friend Never Met, the
Yeah.
shortest of the Dirges.
Yep. Just keyboards and a little bit of guitar.
Yeah, just keys. I forget, did I write those keys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I guess I would have written those keys, and then I wrote the little bit of Evo guitar that goes over it.
I think that was... I feel like the guitar was initially my idea, but you wrote the part.
Yeah.
It was like, there needs to be something here.
That sounds wrong. That sounds like it would have happened, yeah.
With the rain as well, there's a very obvious heavy-handed mood we're going for. This is like the first kind of like... This is the first outcry. These are the first, like, you know... You're gonna suffer through this a few times, but here's the first kind of release.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So...
Now, I can talk about the title. I feel like Funeral for a Friend Never Met at this point is kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Because I obviously never met Haven in real life. He lived in somewhere in Scandinavia.
That was our opening track, Dirge the Nameless Explorer.